ho, let's go. All right, let's dive in. We're going to talk about a band that did way more than just play music. We're talking about a full-on revolution. All started with just 3 chords and a leather jacket. You know who I'm talking about. The one, the only, the Ramones.
Oh, you've seen the logo. Come on, everyone has. It's got to be one of the most iconic band t-shirts ever made, right? But the story behind that seal, it goes so much deeper than just the music. It's actually about this massive cultural shift, a real rebellion against what rock and roll was turning into.
And you can really boil that whole revolution down to 2 super powerful ideas. The Ramones didn't just, follow these ideas, they were these ideas. So what are they? First, you've got the punk ethos. That's kind of their whole philosophy. And second, the DIY or do-it-yourself spirit, which was their method, how they got things done. But to really get it, we've got to set the scene. We need to look at what they were fighting against in the first place.
Okay, so Section 1, rock's rebellion against itself. Yeah, to really grasp why the Ramones were such a big deal, you have to understand the world they crashed into. Punk didn't just appear out of nowhere, right? It was a direct response, a reaction to the music scene at the time.
So picture this. It's the mid-1970s. This is the era of the rock god. You know the bands I'm talking about. Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. Their music, super complex. We're talking epic solos, crazy time signatures. And their shows were these massive stadium spectacles. The musicians themselves, they felt totally untouchable, almost like they were broadcasting from another planet, completely separate from the kids in the audience.
And this is where the battle lines got drawn. You had stadium rock on one side with these 7-minute-plus epics and insane solos all happening in these giant arenas. And what did the Ramones do? They came back with these raw 2-minute explosions of energy, played in tiny, sweaty clubs. This wasn't just a style difference. No way. This was a complete and total rejection of the whole system.
Now, that rejection, it wasn't just about the music. It was way deeper than that. It was philosophical. And that brings us to the core idea, the ideological seed of the whole movement, the punk ethos. So what is the punk ethos? Well, at its heart, it was basically a manifesto. It was this declaration that music should be immediate, it should be authentic, not all polished and perfect. But the most important part? It was democratic. It was this idea that you didn't have to be some guitar god to get up on stage. You just needed something to say.
So the main ideas were pretty simple. 1, be anti-establishment, question authority. 2, value raw, real emotion over slick, perfect production. And 3, believe that anyone, and I mean anyone, can and should create art. This was the fuel for a whole generation of kids who just felt completely left out by mainstream culture.
Okay, so that's the philosophy. But how do you turn that into, actual music? Well, this is where the Ramones were absolute geniuses. They took these big, abstract ideas and distilled them into a simple, incredibly powerful, and repeatable formula. And here's the blueprint, their secret formula. Step 1, 3 basic chords. That's it. Step 2, play them at lightning speed. And step 3, make sure the whole thing is over in about 2 minutes. Every single part of this was a direct punch in the face to those long, complicated songs on the radio. It was meant to be a short, sharp shock. Maximum impact, minimum fuss.
And hey, let's not forget the look, which was just as crucial as the sound. See, it wasn't a costume they put on for the stage, it was a uniform. The leather jackets, the ripped jeans, the sneakers, it was a total anti-fashion statement. And the brilliant part? It was accessible, it was relatable. It made the band look like this tight-knit gang, a gang that any fan could feel like they were a part of. Even that famous logo was this brilliant act of subversion. Think about it. It's designed to look like an official government seal, right? They were literally taking a symbol of authority and twisting it, making it their own for this rebellious cause. It was like they were saying, yeah, we're the official band of the outcasts.
But the influence here, it goes so much deeper than just the look and the sound. I'd argue their most lasting legacy is how they put their philosophy into practice. And that brings us to the do-it-yourself spirit, or DIY. Yeah, this quote on the screen pretty much nails it. The whole DIY spirit was a declaration of independence. It was this radical idea that you don't need some big shot record label or a fancy pants studio to make art and get it out to the world. You can literally just do it yourself.
And if you need proof, just look at this number, $6,400. That's how much it cost to record their first album. The one that would basically change music forever.
That ridiculously low budget wasn't a weakness. It was the whole point. It proved without a doubt that you didn't need a mountain of cash to create something real, something powerful.
So what that did really was create a blueprint for independent music. Their success, happening completely outside the mainstream system, showed thousands of other kids that they could do it too. They could start their own bands, create their own record labels, build entire scenes from scratch, and totally bypass the usual industry gatekeepers. And man, you can trace that echo through the decades. It's amazing. Their debut in '76 just blew the doors open. In the '80s, that DIY spirit directly fueled the rise of hardcore punk and all the indie labels. Then in the '90s, their sound was a huge influence on grunge and pop punk bands like Green Day. And even today, that core ethos, just get out there and make something on your own terms, it inspires creators everywhere, from music to film to art. So that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. In our world today, which is so often about polished perfection and carefully curated everything, is there something we can still learn from the Ramones? I mean, maybe that raw, unvarnished, do-it-yourself honesty is exactly what we need right now. Just something to think about. Thanks so much for tuning in.